We have an immediate high-priority security alert. CVE-2026-64771 is a critical, zero-interaction vulnerability actively threatening enterprise environments. The blast radius covers almost the entire Apple ecosystem. We are looking at a core operating system flaw exposing iOS, macOS, tvOS, and visionOS. The disclosure timeline on this moved fast. Apple submitted the initial vendor details to the National Vulnerability Database on July 27, 2026. Less than 24 hours later, on July 28th, the record was published, and CISA-ADP pipeline enriched it with maximum severity metrics. With the vulnerability transitioning from vendor disclosure to CISA enrichment this quickly, enterprise IT endpoints require immediate mitigation before threat actors can package and deploy active exploits. To keep your perimeter secure, you need real-time threat intelligence. Systems administrators and security researchers, hit subscribe and enable notifications right now to lock in this feed. Go ahead and hit the like button below. Consider that your TCP-style acknowledgement, an ACK packet confirming you have received this critical intel. In the modern threat landscape, the window between disclosure and exploitation is measured in hours. Delayed intelligence directly correlates to compromised networks. Establishing this secure communication channel is your first mandatory operational step in defending against automated zero-day campaigns. Let's break down exactly what we are facing. The CISA-ADP assessment assigned this flaw a maximum CVSS 3.1 base score of 9.8, classifying it as critical. This diagram shows the complete CVSS factor string, which provides a precise roadmap to the attacker's advantage. Isolating the first metric, AVN stands for Attack Vector Network. The attacker can execute this exploit remotely over the open internet. PRN indicates privileges required, none. The adversary needs no existing credentials and zero prior system access. UIN is the most dangerous element. User interaction, none. The victim does not need to click a link, open a file, or approve a prompt. The final three metrics, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, are all rated high, representing a total system compromise. When you combine network access, zero required privileges, and zero user interaction, you get a zero-click remote execution threat. Simply being connected to a network is enough for a device to be completely compromised. The root cause driving these metrics is a low-level memory handling flaw, classified as CVE-2026-64771, improper restriction of operations within the bounds of a memory buffer. This diagram illustrates basic memory allocation. The operating system reserves specific, rigid containers for application data. Here, the blue container holds incoming data, cleanly separated from the gray containers holding critical system instructions by a solid boundary wall. In the vulnerable Apple operating systems, the validation checks fail to measure the incoming data against the strict size limits of its assigned container. Knowing this check is missing, an attacker can intentionally send an oversized payload of malicious data. Without a strict boundary, we hit heap corruption. The excess malicious data spills over the edges of the initial buffer, overwriting the adjacent memory containers. The immediate consequence of this overwrite is a hard crash, causing unexpected application termination and denial of service. The worst-case scenario is far more severe. The attacker can carefully craft the overflow payload to inject their own executable instructions, achieving arbitrary code execution. Because a simple size check was omitted at the network perimeter, an attacker can hijack the core logic of the device's memory, bypassing standard operating system defenses entirely. The Stakeholder-specific vulnerability categorization flags this exploit as highly automatable, demanding immediate attention. The only effective defense against an automatable zero-click threat is an aggressive patching cycle across all affected common platform enumerations. This matrix outlines the required update baselines. For macOS Sequoia users, systems must be upgraded to version 15.7.8 to reach a secure state. If you manage macOS TOS-out endpoints, the safe baseline requires an update to version 26.6. For mobile endpoint requirements, both iOS and iPadOS devices must be locked in at version 26.6. To ensure full coverage across embedded and spatial computing platforms, tvOS and visionOS also require version 26.6. These specific patches reintroduce the missing bounds checking logic into the operating systems, physically blocking the heap corruption vector at the memory level. Numbers across their mobile device management platforms immediately. Any endpoint running a lower build remains a critical liability. This brings us back to the core philosophy of coordinated vulnerability disclosure. security teams cannot defend against threats they cannot see or measure. Rapidly communicating zero-click threats like CVE-2026-64771 is a non-negotiable ethical imperative for the entire cybersecurity community. Your immediate directive is clear. Enforce the outlined patch baselines and thoroughly audit your network perimeters today. Stay secure.